You're very welcome back to the Daily Rundown with me, Fiona Fox. I have Chris Kehoe and Jacqui Wright with me, helping with the stories as well today. Now, Google and Amazon were quick to put drones to use to deliver orders, but new research suggests delivery is just one small way drones are going to replace humans. The tiny airborne vessels will soon clean windows on skyscrapers, verify insurance claims, and spray pesticide on crops. Drone technology could soon become part of our everyday lives, monitoring problems with crumbling infrastructure, such as cracks in tarmac, bridges and houses, and even repairing them. Now, are we worried about losing our jobs to drones? Are you worried about losing your job to a drone? Chris, I feel like they're not going to be that funny for a while. There's a bit more development.
Well, yeah, possibly, yeah. Well, it's a natural progression, I think, to one, you know, certainly in human terms. The mechanisation has always replaced, you know, human labour in essence. So drones is just the next step, you know, from the conveyor belt, from, you know, power tools or whatever, you know. So it will work. The difficulty I have now, though, of course, is that we have a much bigger population than when, for example, the Luddites tried to smash all the threshing machines and so on back in the agricultural revolution. So who's going to, if drones are doing all this work, where are people going to get money from? Yeah. You know, so eventually you'll have all these drones kicking about unemployed because there's no one can afford to buy things to be delivered.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So
do you feel? I mean,
we'll be out of a job.
We have seen like lots of, I guess, robots. I mean, to be dramatic about it, but you know, obviously you've got that sort of self-service stuff in shops that's around years now. I can't think of any other examples. I'm sure techie people could give me loads. Do you feel like how close are we to sort of a Skynet situation now, do you think?
Yeah, apparently I've heard that there's one shop, actually very small, one of the supermarkets, and it's all self-scan, and it's just
the whole shop is.
Yeah, it's all self-scan. It's just overseen by a couple of security guards.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a big one, but it's all self-scan.
We bought one of those, you know, those little vacuums that goes around on its own, those little roundy ones. They go around, they clean your room. Yeah. I don't know if it was a brand name, but we used it was like a nickname. They made it sound like a cute name anyway.
Right.
Like it was good. It cleaned the floor very well, but you know, you had to put it on every night and just leave it going and
put it on by hand.
Recharge it. Yeah, no, it was clean and it gets under stuff. It gets under your, you know, it goes under the couch where obviously you can't go if there's a gap. But yeah, I don't know how comfortable. I wasn't comfortable with it. I want to vacuum my own house.
Right.
Yeah, we've sent it back. We sent it back to Amazon after I cleaned the house a few times. But
did you feel redundant?
But I think I just felt uncomfortable.
I
was like, what if like one day I come in and, you know, he's doing something else, he's turned the telly on or something.
Come on, yeah, he's been reading your books or something like that. Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that I don't like. I was a massive Terminator fan when I was a kid.
Oh,
and
I love that.
That's implanted in my brain, I think. So the more progress we see in this area, the more uncomfortable I feel.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I didn't use a sat-nav for a number of years. Yeah. Just because I was convinced that they were going to drive me somewhere and then robots would beat me up and steal my money or something. But
that's one more thing for you to worry about, Chris. Nice one.
I think being a child of the late 70s and 80s does make you a little bit sceptical about these progresses. Yeah. It is all that world of Terminator and so on.
It is.
Whereas if you were brought up in the 60s, then maybe like you thought that robot butlers would be like the future, and that'd be quite cool, and flying cars and all that. But it's like, I mean, are they going to have drones flying around all the time? Because there'd be a lot of them. It's like, how's that going to be? It's going to be dangerous, isn't it?
Well, that's going to be a society that I kind of, to be fair, would have felt we should be at now in 2016, with, you know, things generally buzzing around in the air. You know, whenever you see something futuristic, the traffic's up in the sky, isn't it? Yeah. Everyone's up there. You know, whether it's the new Star Wars film or the middle lot of Star Wars, whenever, just, you know, everything's kind of flying around the air, isn't it? So at least drones will bring us that way forward.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, how are they going to make them secure? Like, because you could just grab parcel.
Them from the sky.
Are they going to arm drones so they can fight off? But there would be something.
This is where it begins.
Yeah, exactly.
Though, what you armed, that is exactly where it begins.
Yeah.
You need security, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, so that's either going to be a person or it's going
Unless
to be
they're going to have like a person walking underneath the drone with a flag. You know, like they used to have with cars when they first came along. There's a personal. Maybe that's what the jobs will be. We'll all have to be personal security guards for a drone to protect them from gangs of thieves, because they're the only two jobs you'll have. You'll be a security guard for a drone, or you'll be a drone thief, basically.
Yeah, you'll be one. Yeah, you'll be the guard or the robber. That's what you'll be.
That's how society will be divided.
Yeah.
So drones will be the top
Yeah,
material.
people fighting over like Dad's Army box sets that someone's having delivered to the
No, they
uncle.
won't.
I haven't seen. I was a bit late to the drone party, even in awareness of it existing. I think it was kind of when they started landing them on football fields. With I don't know what was the point of that. Bad threatening messages or something, or was just putting it there
no
for the
idea.
crack.
No
But are they not a
idea.
very expensive piece of kit?
I think they can be like they're quite sophisticated.
Yeah.
Some of
So why are
them,
people just lobbing them into football fields?
You can get
and stuff
cheap
like
ones
that?
as well.
Yeah, you
though.
can get cheap ones, yeah.
Right. Okay. So are they the future then? Do you think? You know, you wouldn't. How would you? Would
You're
you feel
asking
like
the
your
wrong
job-
one. I'm not technical, me. I'm not into all that stuff.
Would you be worried about your job?
With the drone? No.
Robots in general.
No.
I would quite like robots to do all the work.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, as long as you would then share, as long as wealth was distributed evenly. You know, basically, there's too many people to do the work. We don't need this as many jobs as there are really in a lot of ways. So there should be, in essence, everyone working about 10 hours a week maintaining robots who do the labour and then spend the rest of the time relaxing, doing charity work, whatever, enjoying yourself.
But we're all on the same money.
But yeah. But that's what
Yeah.
John Maynard Keynes predicted should be happening by about now, because nobody needs to work a full week's work. They need to do about 15 hours a week.
So we've got kind of a robotic futuristic
Sort of like effectively like luxury
setup.
communism. You know, like Marxism failed because it wasn't tried under the correct circumstances. They didn't wait until robots were
But now with
prevalent enough
drones.
to. But now there's robots.
The one thing that does stand out about that one though is fixing infrastructure. Now I think there's been a few sinkholes.
Yeah. A few sinkholes,
in a large northern city of England recently, and it's affected my travel. So I'd like to see drones getting in there and sorting all that stuff out. That I could get behind.
If they could, can they do that, Jones?
Well, that's what this suggests.
Got to start somewhere.
Well, it's going to be like for scanning to see whether then you still have to get people to come in and actually do the
I
manual.
had vision of them in there with their tools and everything, Chris. You see,
Yeah.
it still seems like it's not enough to me, So anyway, let's move to our last one. Thanks. Maybe there'll be a drone in here during the show tomorrow. An Australian mother who gave birth to quintuplets in January has released a photo shoot of her unlikely new arrivals. A team of 50 doctors and nurses assisted with the planned cesarean, and all of the children were born healthy. So tiny, wow. The chance of conceiving quintuplets naturally is about 1 in 55 million. Wow. Goodness me. 1 in 55. Now, the thing about these being born naturally, I actually read, did you read the story today?
Yeah.
I kind of had mixed feelings about it, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's fantastic the babies all arrived and they're all okay, but she took some very, very serious risks.
Yeah, she did.
I mean, I guess she was also in an impossible kind of situation, and obviously we'll bring up a very old argument, but she was actually advised to continue just with 2 early days in the pregnancy, but she chose to continue. She did make that choice. Now, at one stage she describes her pregnancy as she felt that her body was actually shutting down completely, and she was hospitalised. I think that her organs were very, very stretched, and there was a situation where it was touch and go, and she does have kids now already.
Yeah.
She's got 3 kids. I don't know, how do you feel about that, just responsibility wise, just to ask the question, obviously not to
I just think it's one of those situations you don't know till you're in it.
it is a particularly unique situation, and
How can you decide whether to terminate a couple or just try and carry on? But then again, she took the risk of losing all of them, losing her own life.
yeah.
So she was incredibly lucky, but that could have gone so wrong, that.
Well, and that's the main thing, is the fact she already had children. The risk to her, and then effectively leaving her existing children without a mother is the real risk. I'm not saying that losing any of the unborn children wouldn't be a risk or a terrible situation.
It's a consideration as a
but
parent.
it's a consideration as a parent,
Yeah.
and one that would possibly make you lean to go towards. Because it's not just your life you're playing with there.
No,
then.
definitely not.
Because you could say, well, actually, let's see what nature dictates here. Let's see whether or not we have all 5, or if we end up losing a couple. Anyway, that will be what will be. If it's my life, I can take a risk with my own life. But when you've got other children there who are depending on you, then personally, I don't think I would have taken that decision. But who am I, a man, to be telling a woman what to do with her own
I
money?
think it's one of those you don't know till you're in it.
Yeah, you could be in a situation, if it could it could be your partner, and obviously it would be a situation you should really take together in some way if you do have kids or you have a family together. But it is very difficult. Obviously, the outcome of this is fantastic, health to deliver, to first of all conceive quintuplets naturally, 1 in 55 million. That is unbelievable odds. But there's been a rise in kind of multiple births, hasn't there? With obviously fertility treatment and that kind of thing. And the flip side of it is the strain. There is, even in this country, there is a strain on the NHS with multiple births. Obviously, the risks that come with that. Some mothers are now older than they've been. There's more risks. How do you kind of feel about that in general? Bearing in mind, obviously, the NHS is in the news all the time, isn't it, with the strains, different strains.
How do I feel about older women?
No, well, sorry, just to kind of...
Because I don't agree with the older women having babies. No, I don't.
Do you think there should be a cut-off?
Yeah, I do.
What would you think the cut-off should be?
Oh, that's difficult, because each woman's different, isn't it? It's, but I don't agree with women in the 50s having kids. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think that's selfish.
It's quite... Well, I mean, I have spoken to... I've got a friend who's a midwife, and she said that the amount of... Obviously, now, to be fair, the UK don't advocate that, and they don't do fertility treatment with women over, I think, possibly 45 maybe.
45.
I'm open to correction on that, but you can go abroad, you can get the treatment, but then you come home with your multiple birth and you're 52, maybe 53.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very dangerous situation, actually. And then obviously the NHS has to pick up the slack.
I just think it's selfish.
Well, it's like societally we've evolved quicker than we have done physically, basically. So that we now, as a society, sort of pour scorn and frown upon anybody having children at the age that actually your body's evolved to have children at.
Yeah.
and put having a career and getting all that sorted out as being paramount, and then having children later on, which has its own inherent risks. But the society we live in is one where it's perfectly acceptable to have children when you get to 40, even 50. So I mean, that's just what our priorities as a society are, effectively at odds with what our bodies are telling us that we should and shouldn't be doing, really.
Yeah. Who was the famous one? The one from Shameless.
Tina Malone.
Yeah, she's had a baby relatively recently. Wow. She's in her 50s.
Sorry.
Obviously, part of me thinks that, you should do what you want to do either, but this person is whatever. Anyway, very best of luck. Imagine the night feeds now, and
she'll be regretting the decision.
He'll be in that spare bedroom now forever, won't he?
That's it. Thanks very much for that, guys. We're going to go for another break. When I come back, we're going to have our movie special with Chris Grogan. Don't go away.